next comic is a writer for the Chris Gethard Show, and he is on the Comedy Central comic to watch. Not comics, he is the comic to watch. Give it up for Will Miles.
Thank you very much. Yeah, is that Drake? You gonna make me run my rounds? Yeah, how's everybody doing? Good. I am a black man, and I enjoyed the movie La La Land. You know, it was a good movie. It had some good parts. I don't know why it's getting all that hate. I don't believe white people were as instrumental in jazz as the movie would make you believe. I want to be clear about that. But I also don't think there were that many white people helping slaves like all the other movies would have you believe too. So to me, they're, you know, it's like they're all fiction. I don't really, it's all suspension of disbelief. Plus, I like the chemistry of John Legend helping, Ryan Gosling out over Brad Pitt helping Chew It All. So, it's all good. They weren't like, come on, this way. But yeah, I'm feeling good today. I'm wearing this shirt. I feel good about it. It's got my high school on the back. Shout out Whitney Young. Yeah. Magnet High School in Chicago. If they knew now, I mean, I'm not a really good representation of the alumni. Because I'm about to talk about weed for like 10 minutes. I love weed. I'm a big fan of weed. I like weed. I don't know if anyone else had this happen. You ever been so high that you forgot the person you were talking to was doing an impression of somebody else? And you just keep staring at him like, wait, you talk like that? I don't remember you talking like this. This is weird. It's like, oh, it's a different, all right, cool. I wasn't paying attention, my bad. I knew I was high earlier today because I was watching the news, and that was the first clue, but I could tell I was high because I was watching the news and I said out loud to no one, man, this is a pretty good episode. It's kind of a high thing to say, right? What'd you say? I texted my girl and everything. I was like, yo, I got a new show for us to watch. It's pretty good. It's in its last season, but it's pretty good. It's going pretty well. Yeah. I like the news. I like watching TV, Stone, and especially news. I like Pix 11 in New York. That's my favorite news channel. Yeah, hell yeah. Hold on. I like them because they're not that good. And that's what I appreciate about it. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, that's a good news program. And it's like, yeah, it is, but it's like too dark. I like Pix 11 where they're trying at best, you know? They give it their all, and that's what I care about. Like, give you an example of Pix 11 News. On election night, every other news channel had digital boards, and they would touch it, and it would go like, this is red state. And they'd touch it, and it would turn red. It's amazing. But on Pix 11, they had a whiteboard and markers. And they just kept going like, this state's red. Oh, hold on, my bad. This one's actually blue. Like, give you an example of them. You know, most newscasters have processed news before they deliver it to you. They've read it over and they've dealt with the information. And when they say it to you, it's kind of cold, but that's what newscasters are supposed to do. That's not how Pix 11 rolls either. They read the news for the first time, live on air, in front of you. It's great. They came back from commercial break one day, the lady was just staring at the screen like this. And then she just goes, oh, that's terrible. It was great, though. It made me feel like I was part of the I team. Like, I went to school for that. I really watch it because they have this segment called What a Shame with host Arnold Diaz. And Arnold Diaz is great. We got some fans out there. I love the name Arnold Diaz for one. It's my porn name. But I just like the show. I like What a Shame. It's basically a segment where you go through a regular problem in your day and then you get on the news all of a sudden. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, I had trouble in line at Best Buy. Great, you're on the news. What a shame. With Arnold Diaz. And he's been doing this for 25 years. He's been doing the news for 25 years. He hosts What a Shame Now. But before this, he hosts a segment called Shame on You. And then before that, he hosted a segment called Shame, Shame, Shame. So he is the king of branding, and his brand is shame. And he's been killing it for years. Weed's got me into a lot of issues. I didn't know what to do when I was 22, fresh out of college. Maybe 23, fresh out of college. However long it took. Look, it doesn't matter. But college ended and I had to go get a job. And so I went back home to Chicago and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I had options. My dad was a politician growing up and entertainment lawyer. And so he wanted me to get into politics. So he was like, you can get into politics, come to this fundraiser and you'll meet some people and this will be your job if you want it. And I was like, that sounds cool, let me try it out. And I went and everybody talking to me was like, your first year here, people are gonna shit on you, you're gonna be treated like crap, you're not gonna like it. And I was like, I don't know, I'm a millennial. All I really care about is my feelings, so I don't know if I can go through with this. So I looked at that, I didn't want to do it. And then my mom was like, you can work at a school, you can work with kids, they might be fun. And I was like, Mom, I don't really know too many kids, like I've never smoked with one. And it's usually how I make friends, so I don't know if I'll get along with the kids. It doesn't sound like a fun job at all. And you got to smoke with people to know if you like them. So that's how I roll. That's why I'm friends with a lot of gangbangers, Republicans. If I smoke weed with you, we could probably cross the aisle. But yeah, so I didn't want that job. What I wanted was a job at DSW Shoe Warehouse, because that sounded cool. I love shoes, and I was like, DSW is the place to be. I would love to work there. And so I went in the interview place, and most people call it a office. And I went in there, and they were like, all right, we think you're great for this job, but we just need you to do one more thing. You got to take a drug test, and then you can probably work at DSW Shoe Warehouse. And so that's how I became a teacher for 8 years in Chicago Public Schools, because hell yeah, teachers who only took the job because of weed, because they don't drug test teachers. As I'm fine with that. Not in Chicago. Not in New York? No. Hell yeah. See, this is why you become a teacher. Don't worry about it. You think people not high want to deal with those fucking kids? Gotta be stoned. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are shocked. You shouldn't be shocked. You remember your art teacher. Don't freak out. That's why you know what Monet is and all that shit. But yeah, right now I like my job now. It's fun. I like doing this kind of thing. It's great. I get to do different things. I get to travel to different cities. I went to Denver pretty recently. Great place. Hell yeah. Denver's awesome because weed is legal there. And so everybody is just real cool and chill. So you get like a good view of just people in general, like the good in people. And I got there, and I got off the plane, and I went straight to the dispensary. That was the first place I stopped. And I walked in, and I just kept asking the guy behind the counter, for real? Like, that was my whole experience there, was just me pointing at shit and being like, for real? This? $5 for real? All right, and I'm gonna walk out this, and I'm not gonna get arrested? For real? This is crazy. Did all that, smoked the weed. It was very good weed. And then I made the mistake of watching the movie It Follows. And some of you have seen it. It Follows is a good movie, but it's not something you want to watch when you have anxiety and you're high off of new weed. It's too much. Because if you haven't seen the movie It Follows, it's a horror movie, about a sexually transmitted ghost. And I'm not kidding about that. It's about you have sex and then you immediately get a ghost that follows you around. It's the whole plot line of the movie. It's amazing. But when you're watching that and you're high and you start thinking about your 20s, you're like, oh, I probably got that shit. I missed out on the other things, but I probably definitely got that STG, you know? Yeah. I also went to Cincinnati. Great place. A lot of cool people there. I felt very good when I met the other black dude there. All it took was going to the mirror, but I had a fun time there. I did a bunch of shows out there for deaf people. And I don't know if I have a huge deaf fan base, but I did have a bunch of deaf people at all my shows. It's kind of cool, because you do shows for deaf people, you know they came just to see you. So, it's one of those jokes you write it down, you're like, hoo hoo hoo, to fire. So I did those shows, and I have a translator on stage the whole time. That's what happens when you do shows for deaf people. You tell the joke, and the translator translates the joke, then they laugh a little bit later. Not being mean, that's how it happens. So I would do that over and over again. I'd tell a joke, translate it. I use the N-word every now and then, and I wasn't sure if we had made an agreement yet on whether or not a white person could sign it. Because the person signing it she was a white woman, and I don't blame her for anything, except the election. But she was here, and So I wasn't sure. So I kept having to figure out if it was cool if she signed the N-word. So I would say a joke. I'd be like, Cinder's talking to this one nigga. And then I'd stop the whole show and look at her and be like, all right, what are you about to do now? What's your next move? And I don't know if anyone knows sign here, but she did this for the N-word in sign language. This is the N-word apparently in sign language according to this woman. And I think we can all agree there's no way that's it, right? She's definitely fucking with me. There's no way this is the N-word in sign language. Now I gotta rethink every interaction I've ever had on the street. Where I'm just walking by somebody across the way is like this. Now I'm like, hey man, fuck you. You don't know me. I was telling that story once and a lady yells out, oh, it means peace. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I get it. 2 fingers means peace. I know, I went to 3rd grade, I get it. And she was like, no, they mean the same thing. And I was like, wait, what the fuck are you telling me right now? You telling me in sign language, nigga means peace? They may not be able to hear, but they are woke as fuck, you know? Now I trust deaf cops. They pull me over, I'm like, haha. I did grow up black, and I'm still black today, so I got that going for me. A lot of us turn Dominican, as you guys know. Depending on the bodega. Sometimes it's fun, you know, you're at a bodega, they start speaking Spanish, you're like, maybe, let's try it out. And, let's give it a go. Do Dominicans have it any better? They have it no better. Just a lot more dancing. But but I don't know what I am. So as a black American, I can go as far back as like New Orleans and Harlem, but I can't go much further back. So I don't know what I am. So I live in Brooklyn, so I have the luxury of having people constantly tell me what I am when I don't ask them. Like I'll walk down the street and occasionally people will be like, oh, you're my Moroccan brother. And I'm like, okay. I can't prove that. I don't know at all. I take your word for it. I was out there one day on the phone. I was right outside Atlantic Barclays Center, the terminal. I was on the phone. I was on kind of an important phone call. And I was just like, hello, talking. That's how I talk on the phone. And this woman walks by, a short woman walks by and starts tapping me on the chest just like that, which is already too aggressive. She's tapping me on the chest. And I'm like, I hate this. So I put the phone on my chest to block her from tapping it anymore. And I was like, how can I help you, miss? And she goes, hey, are you Jamaican? And I was like, no? And then she was like, all right, and just walked away. Like that was a normal question to ask without a follow-up. And you know, a part of me, since that day I've been trying to think like, what could she possibly have asked had I said yes to that question, you know? I gotta know the answer to the next thing. And a part of me hopes that it was just a regular question, but she only trusts Jamaicans. Like, are you Jamaican? Yeah. Where's the Best Buy? Right over there, man. And she would have been like, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. So I don't quite know how to talk to too many people. When I was 27, I thought a good idea was to join the website ashleymadison.com. So I did. I joined the website ashleymadison.com at 27 years old under the name Mr. Tuesday Night. Yeah, because everybody was doing Friday, but I was going to clean up on Tuesday. So I was Mr. Tuesday Night. I joined it. I was single at the time. I had no worries. I was like, this will be great. Whatever. This doesn't matter at all. And then I'll just live my life after I join this website. Everything was fine. It was all good just like 7 years ago. So then, like a little bit after that, 5 years later, not too long ago from now, Ashley Madison got hacked. And I was like freaked out a little bit because I got an email from an unknown person that said, unfortunately, we know that you've been on ashleymadison.com. We have all your information. You have to send us 10 Bitcoin or we're going to release all of this information to all of your friends and family. And I was supposed to be shook by that, but I didn't care. And I knew I didn't care because it said, we're going to tell your wife and kids. And I was like, I don't have that shit. That's fine. And then they were like, think about what it'll be like when we tell your employer and your employees. And I was like, you know, guys, this is my job. So I was like, I'll probably tell them. I don't know. Seems like it might be a good story. So I wasn't worried at all. So I just wrote back, hey man, what's a Bitcoin? And that's all I wrote. And then he got mad. He sent something back. He was like, you know what a Bitcoin is? Stop fucking around. Just send me the money. Here's the website where you can put the Bitcoin at, and you can send that money away. Don't let your family be let down by your actions in the past. And so I got all that, and I just wrote back, hey. That's it, just like an error email. I just wrote, hey, and that was it. Just, hey. Like, whoops, I forgot to send the rest of it, but I didn't forget. So I just wrote, hey. And then he wrote nothing back for 4 hours. So I wrote another hey. I just wrote, hey, one more time. And then I waited a whole day after that. because he didn't respond then. So I waited a whole day and I just wrote, hey again, and he just wrote back, stop. So then I just wrote, hey man, are you Jamaican? And I have not heard from him since. All right, you guys are fun. Thanks. One else. Peace.